Hey guys, welcome back to the Mashable Southeast Asia Podcast. Today's our guest, Suresh, to come and join us on our Mashable Podcast.
Hello.
And we are basically talking about how the MCO has affected us and what can we expect from the MCO. I'm finally seeing someone else's face other than my family's face.
Human interaction with the distance.
Yes, finally. I'm so happy. However, Suresh, I do want to know, okay, during the MCO, what did you do to pass the time?
There's really not much that I can do. But yeah, I was mainly gaming. Gaming has been my go-to, especially Dota. I've been like trying to improve my ranks to a certain level. But yeah, I've mainly been doing that. I've been doing music at the side just to pass the time. I feel like everyone's doing that now.
So you need to be productive, right? Yeah, that's the only way to keep ourselves occupied, right? So for me, I think it's been the same thing. Wake up, go to work. Well, basically, technically, just sit on my computer and start work, right? And then close work and then open my video games and start playing for the whole night, right? And then when the weekend comes, basically, put the work aside, right? Just video games all the way, right? So, like, with you and your friends, like, what do you use, what software, what technology do you use to keep in touch with your friends?
The mainstream ones are probably WhatsApp and, of course, Google Meet or Zoom calls and stuff. I feel like those are like very famous platforms that everyone uses now for video conferencing. You're basically seeing that person after like so long or what. But yeah, it doesn't feel the same. Even through text, a lot of things can be misinterpreted. Especially when you talk to someone, it's better to do it face to face because there's reactions and stuff. But even through a video call, like you said, it gets cut a lot. So it loses that feeling of like being there with someone.
Coming away from friends, families and all that, right? Now we're talking about like the people within, let's say for example, Malaysia, right? And do you realize that there is kind of a bigger push for cashless transactions?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Right,
do you realize that? Like, especially when I go to a lot of shops. Like, for example, we just had lunch just now, right? And going up to so what we call in Malaysia a mamak stall, which is basically like a stall that serves South Indian food, I would say, right? That's the best
South
way
Indian, Malay.
And I realized like the guy was like, all the QR payment punya banners were right in front.
Yeah.
Right.
They're pretty up there.
Yeah, they want you, it's like they're expecting you. And I think that's great because I once realized also that a lot of people are talking about how cash, the virus can sit on cash for a few days, right?
Yeah.
And in Malaysia, there's not really a huge push for e-wallets, right? We always see that these companies, for example, what we have here is Touch and Go e-wallet, right? We have GrabPay also. We also have Razorpay. We also have Boost and all that. Now, I can see that Razer is trying to push because especially when it comes to 7-Elevens and all that, which is great because a lot of people use 7-Eleven. So that's an excellent push towards that kind of groceries or department stores. But a lot of the other companies, right, they are not really pushing for e-wallet. And don't you think that this would be the perfect time to push for an e-wallet?
I do agree. So I hated carrying cash, I everywhere I go, like even just now, I didn't want to stay there because I actually didn't know that they accepted cashless payment.
Right.
So I went to Family Mart where they do accept cashless payment. I didn't have cash in my pocket, seriously. So yeah, it's good
honestly, like for me, so I feel like it's like trying you avoiding the contact with the virus if you go cashless, right? Because like I've seen like some banks, like I think recently or so when the MCO first started, there was a bank somewhere in Kuala Lumpur that had a virus case, isn't it? And they had to shut down the entire bank, right? And we don't know whether that bank is the area where money comes in and out to go to ATM machines. I hope like this could be the future, right? Because I am always on for a cashless future.
Same, man.
Right?
Same.
And if they don't do that, then like,
yeah.
Are you trying to help us or not? Like, I hope like, they start pushing it more. Right. So we've also seen, I think, a lot of changes on social media. Don't you think so? Yeah. I mean, for example, you are actually a social media manager for the Says brand in Malaysia, aren't you? Yeah. So you probably know this the most, right? And I realized that for me, social media is not something that I can ever get used to because that point of sharing your entire life on social media doesn't really appeal to me. But I realized that being stuck at home, right? So we spoke about this, right? Morale is down.
Yes.
Right. And I think the only source of entertainment that we have, aside from obviously YouTube and Netflix, is our social media, because that's the only way for us to connect with the outside world. And usually social media is like full of like food pictures. But I did realize though, during the lockdown period, the types of posts that we are getting are very different.
Yes.
Right? It's so different that it made me kind of like believed in social media once more, because a lot of people are posting about, how like this family needs help, that this group, this community of people needs help, and people rally to it, right?
People do care, and I think at the end of the day, when you post something related to it, saying like these people need help, if anyone can afford to help, they will definitely step in. And especially I think that's one thing I love about Malaysia. I'd say like people as further apart as we are, right now, due to social distancing, we come closer together in a way,
Our consciousness are closer, right? We're not physically close, but at least our mental, our minds are still, we still think about each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, right? Because that is something that we kind of need. It's the way that information is now being conveyed on social media, and I think that is great, right? And at the same time, we talked about how our morals are down. And these little things that we see on social media kind of boosts our morale.
Yes.
I don't know if you realize this, but have you realized that the awareness on fake news is much higher now?
Oh yes. Oh my god. Right. Because they were gonna find people who spread fake news and stuff.
Because yes, we need to stop the fake news. Because not only the virus is dangerous, getting fake news and then acting upon that fake news is gonna be even worse.
Definitely.
Right?
I agree. I think one thing that like you said, the family, the older generations, in our cases, our family members, basically on WhatsApp groups and stuff, every now and then you will get this fake news that you're staring at it and going like, how is this true? Like that there is no way. Don't get me wrong, some news come out way before the PM gives his speech,
Yes,
like
correct.
even we don't know what's happening, right? But we're kind of expecting, okay, this is what might happen. These guys already have got like pictures and stuff coming up, so we're like, okay, sometimes they are right, but not all the time. And like I try and remind them, coming from a media background as well, I try and remind them like, I think y'all should stop doing this. Like I know none of us are gonna like rat us out or what, but just to make sure, at the end of the day, you gotta make sure that you're sharing the right facts. Even if you share the wrong facts, we correct them and make sure that in the future this doesn't happen.
Correct. How long do you think we would be living in this fear of, of this invisible enemy?
Wow. That's a strong question, right? I think I saw an article on Mashable Southeast Asia. You guys posted something on how this virus may never end.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, actually, when you think about it, our cultures, like Malaysia, is gonna be really affected.
Yes.
Our lepak sessions. We would go watch football at 3 a.m. in the morning in restaurants and stuff. That's gonna change.
Yes.
All of us are just gonna be. Yeah, I think when you ask me that question, I don't know how to answer that. So yeah, it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be different.
The new norm is, don't know.
I don't like it.
Yeah, we don't know whether it's gonna be a bright future or
Yeah.
not. I guess this is the new norm, eh?
Yeah, man.
It's a very interesting world we live in. Suresh, that's about it. Now, usually at the end of every podcast, I would shake our guest's hand, but I think you understand in this situation.
I totally
you
understand,
shouldn't.
man. We'll just high five on
We
the
should
air.
high five
like,
from the back.
bam, there we
Very
go.
nice. So, Suresh, yes, thank you once again for joining us.
No problem, man.
I hope you are feeling well. You're feeling good, right?
Great.
Taking this well, I hope. Yeah?
Will do. I hope you are too, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, I do. I am. I'll see you in the office once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah,
okay.
because we're planning to start back our shooting as well. Get our
nice.
YouTube back on track.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stay
So
tuned,
hopefully
guys. Stay tuned on Mashable.
And speaking of YouTube, you can catch this podcast in a video version on YouTube as well as the audio version on Spotify. With that, guys, I will see you in the next podcast.
Bye.